Forever Home was an Amazon Prime Day deals purchase because it was one that we've kind of been looking at based on theme, puzzly aspect of it. So, did we make a good decision in purchasing it? Stick around after the how to play and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, here I am showing you the example setup for a 2 or 3 player game. First thing you're going to do is you're going to place the accommodation board out up top. You're going to randomly put one of each dog meeple on here. Then keep them in their 4 categories. You're going to shuffle up the rehome cards, or the home cards. Select one of each, place them face up. Typically they'll go above the accommodation board. I have them here just for space constraints. Next we are going to shuffle up all the training cards and make a display based on player count. In a 2 and 3 player game it's 4 cards. In a 4 and 5 player game it's 5 cards. We're going to place all the dog tokens in the bag, shake them up, and then make a display of dog tokens again. 4 in a 2 and 3 player game and 5 in a 4 and 5 player game. So they'll match how many cards you have out as well. All of this is also covered right here on the bottom of the accommodation board. You'll see 2 player, 1 player, 4 player, 1 player, or it's probably like 2 and 3, 4 and 5 type of thing. Although the slash would make you think it's 1 player. Each player is then going to take a shelter board. You can play with the normal side or the advanced side. I will just be going over the normal side for now. Each player then starts with a hand of 2 training cards. You're going to determine a first player. They are going to get the score pad. You are then going to create a pool of dog tokens equal to 2 per player, like so. You'll put that in the center of the table. Then once you're sure everyone knows how to play the game, each person, or starting with the first player, they're going to choose a dog token, and then you're going to do a snake draft around the board, which basically means that each person in turn order then will select one. Then once it gets to the last player, they're going to select the second one. It's going to come back around. So in this instance, we'll say the other player select that, and we have these, and we're going to put them on our shelter board. Optimally, looking at your cards here and arranging them in such a way that will help you with these cards. And that is it for setup. You are now going to get into your turn. On each person's turn, you can take 2 actions per turn. You can take a dog from the display, take it, put it on your shelter board anywhere, as long as you do not put 2 on the same spot, so I can't put 2 dogs on the same square. And you cannot take a dog from the bag, and the display is refilled right after you take one. The next thing you can do is you can take a training card. You have to take it from the face-up display. You cannot take it from the top deck. You have a hand limit of 5 cards, and that is replaced as soon as you take it. So if I say take this one, it is replaced as soon as I take it. The last option is you can move a dog. You can move a dog up, down, left, right if it's available. So up, down, left, right, or you can move it diagonally, 1 spot per action. So this would be 1, 2 actions if I did that way. So for training cards, you can, once you have the thing on your board, you do have the option to complete them. You don't need to if you're trying to save up to go for something else. But so let's say I took this pink token. It gets replaced immediately. So I'm going to look at the cards in my hand. So you'll notice there's a couple different ways these look. So this one has that symbol, an X, and that symbol. That means this needs to be the same dog with a space in between it. So same dog, space in between it. This would be 2 of one type and 2 of another type with nothing in those spaces. This would be 3 of one type. So we have gotten this one. What you're going to then do is you're going to look up here, and that's how many of the tokens that are part of this shape can get rehomed. So in this instance, both of them. So I'm going to take them, and I am going to put them in one of the homes. We're going to look at the cards to see how they want to be scored. So the city wants all different dogs, so you have to put different dog types in the city. I can't put both of these in the city. So I can put one in the city. The suburbs wants either this group here for 6 points, this group for 3, or that group for 1. Countryside wants 2 pairs, that gets you 6 points. And the foster home, this is always the same card, it's going to give you 1 point just per dog in it. So I might do something like this. I then will take that card. It's going to be worth the points at the bottom, so this one's going to be worth 0. I'm going to put it next to my board. The game end trigger is when someone has completed 7 of their trick cards. That's why you put them on the side also, so you can keep track and see when you have 7. Once someone has played their 7th training card, they'll now still have played their 7th. You're going to finish out the current round so everyone has an equal number of turns, and then you will go into end game scoring. End game scoring is covered on the score pad. First thing you're going to get points for is any of your completed training cards. You'll add those up. You're going to look at the home cards and get points for those. Again, this is looking for 5 different ones to get the max points. This is looking for those sets, the 2 pairs, and 1 per. You're then going to look at the accommodations board. So the accommodations board has the different colored dogs up here. So the first spot is you're going to look for how many of this color you have remaining in your shelter. If you have the most, you get 3 points. For this one, if you have the most, you get 1 point. All ties are friendly, so if 2 of you are tied for the most with the pink, you would each get 3 points. Your next one is the most rehomed. So you're going to again look at each one. That's for 3, 2, and 1. And if you have the most of them between all of the homes, so if you have the most red in all of the homes up here, you'd get the denoted points. And then your final one is the most of a dog in the different houses. So if I have a green here and a green here, I would have 2 for this one. However, if both greens were there, this would only be 1 because it's only in one of the homes. So this is looking for amongst all the homes. This just cares about any of them up here. So this again would be 1 for if he was here. However, if the green one was over here, this would be 2 because there's 2 of them in a home in general. Then you're going to total up the points. Most points wins. Alright, so that is how Forever Home plays. We are going to start off by looking inside the box. If you want to see a more detailed example of what is in the box, you can check up above, and that is the unboxing of Forever Home. So the components of this game are really good quality. We really love the art that's shown on the training cards. And the training cards icons are all big, easy to decipher. You can see the shape. Everything is explained well. The tokens, they feel nice, they feel thick. The bag itself is this large bag I can easily fit my hand into and mess up and kind of shuffle up the tokens, which is good because there are a lot of tokens, so you're going to want to constantly shuffle those up. So the opening's wide enough, the bag has enough give that you're not feeling kind of stuck in there and like you're going to start popping stuff out. So it is very rare to have like these nice size bags, and this one does have a pretty good size one. I don't have like a huge hand, but I do have a wider hand that I do usually have trouble with bags, and this was not one of them. Also enjoy that all the dog meeples are different. That does, I believe, help with colorblind friendliness because they are different shaped and with the different colors, and then those shapes correspond to the dog that is on those token tiles, so you can easily decipher that. The rulebook itself is fine. It does its job mostly. There are some timing questions that are kind of left up in the air. There is the one where, like with those training cards, as I said, it'll like show 3 and like, all right, these are all one dog type, and the other one just says, you know, a single or a dog of another type. So Brian was unsure, like, well, does that just mean that needs to be different than the other one, or do those 2 pair have to be the same as well? So they didn't like, they could have possibly worded that better to discount that confusion. There's also a blurb on the one page that's like, you can wait to put out your dog tiles until you see the training tiles refreshed and the dog tiles refreshed, but you can't refresh the training cards until you finish your one action. So it just kind of is a little confusing on when you are allowed to place your dog tiles, like if you can draw a training card first and see before you actually put your dog out or something to that effect. So the rule book probably did need to be tweaked a little bit. Like I said, for the most part, I understood the game. It's just there were those kind of lingering questions and such that were out there that we were unsure about. Now, as for the two-player experience, the game rules themselves work the same in 2 players. The only difference in 2 players, although it's the same count in 3 players, is how many training cards and dog tiles are out in the market, which is 4. When you go up to the next player count, 4, can't remember if this plays 5, but at least 4 players, it's then 5 cards and 5 dog tiles. At 2 players, we did feel like those markets did get a little stale because with you only having 2 actions each turn, you might be taking 2 dogs, in which case the training cards aren't getting taken. You might take 2 training cards, 1 of each. So the market itself isn't really rotating around much, so you aren't getting a big variety as you're playing. So we did find with 2 players that just really wasn't becoming dynamic enough, and we really kind of wish there was maybe some rule, some way of clearing out a row, like if no one's taking the training cards after a full round, maybe refresh them, maybe cycle one every 2 turns, something to that effect. We just felt like something needed to happen to be able to refresh that market, especially with you not being able to top deck or draw from the bag. You were very limited to what's out there. But for the gameplay itself, the turns are, as I just said, you have 2 actions, so they usually move fairly quick, fairly fast. Because it's literally just, I'm going to grab this tile, put it on my board, grab a card, or grab a tile, put them on my board. The only thing that might break that up is if you complete a training card, in which case that's simple. You just do a training card, take what you want, put them up there, put it face down, and done. So with how easy and quick those turns are, it is super easy to teach. The player board has all the steps on there, so it's literally like, what can I do on a turn? Well, it's right there. You can take a dog tile, you can take a card, and you can move a dog. Done. The advanced side of the board doesn't even add that much to it, and the icons there are good. It's you put a dog here, you can move another dog a certain way, or you can swap out a dog token, or you can swap out a training card token. So even the advanced side doesn't add a ton of complexity to the game. It kind of just adds that ability for you to possibly be able to manage your puzzle and do something extra with it. Like, all right, I'm going to take the dog token. It's not the one I need, but if I can get this one all the way over here, which normally be like a bunch of moves, nope, instead I can put the dog here, move that one all the way over, and now I can accomplish this training card. So it kind of adds that cool extra strategic level to where you can feel like you're getting more than just those 2, because that might be kind of one of the bonus ones. Overall, our biggest issue with this game is the actions and how limiting you do feel in this game. We wish there was a way that you could just maybe complete a training card that was out on display, and then if you choose to take a training card, just make sure you reserve it, would be that action of taking a training card. Because sometimes you're like, all right, well, I need that dog and that training card, but I only have 1 action left. So which one do I prioritize? Because if I don't prioritize the right one, then the opponent's going to take it, and then it's not going to be there for me. And then, as I said earlier, you aren't getting much rotation in those markets because you can't necessarily refresh them. So it does seem a little hindering of, I have to take this entire action to take this card, but now it might take me another 4, 5, 6, 7 actions to complete that card if the right stuff comes up. So just being able to have that kind of ability to do something outside of your little area, I think would really excel the game for us. We just, like I said, felt hampered. Because we have had numerous games where like maybe 1 of this color or 2 of this color only have come out of the bag. So having to really try and figure out, like, if you're banking on that initially because you see, there's 2 of them out there already. Cool, I'll focus on those. And then no more come out. Then you're having to try and pivot mid-game, but the game ends after 7 cards, which sounds like a lot, but it can happen quick, especially if your opponent's lucking into a good draw, or they decide, nope, I'm just going to grab all these small cards, rehome some, and then you're left with only completing like 2 or 3 training cards because they basically rushed it. So being able, like I said, grab those training cards from the middle instead of having to constantly bring them to your hand. Because I think the hand limit's 5. I don't think we ever had more than like 3 in our hand, because if you're grabbing those cards, then you're going to be passing up on the dogs, and then you might be missing the exact colors you're going to need.
because some of those goals want specific colors. So it's like, all right, if you pivot, you're going to be missing out on some of those high scoring points because you might just end up throwing a bunch in foster home, and at that point they're 1 point each, but you'd be missing on the pairs. Because the one that wants to pair, sometimes you need one specific color for any of them to score. So if you don't get that one, then you're kind of just out of luck. Like if you watch my solo play, you'll know that happened to me, was that the one color I need, I think it was red, I wasn't getting. So the one that I kept trying to go to, because I got the other colors initially, once I didn't get the red in there, I wasn't getting points. So it's the fact that certain cards and certain things rely so much on color, and there's no way to like try and fish for that color outside of just hoping people are taking dogs and kind of spinning your wheels that way. That is what kind of brings it down for us. So for us, it go okay. It's a 6 out of 10. We didn't regret purchasing it. It is one that we will play here and there. I don't know if it's really going to be in our rotation, but we really loved the artwork. We like the puzzly gameplay. It's just like I said, the stale market and the not being able to refresh and try and fish for exactly what you want, and having to basically just have the game tell you what you're going for, as opposed to you being able to really implement a strategy, is what took it down a level for me. So, Forever Home from Birdwood Games, that's how it go. And now I'd like you to go down below and hit the like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell for this video, this channel, etc. That is appreciative of us. So until next time, get out and check out those puppies.